The fog in my mind cleared a bit, and I saw the person in front of me clearly. It wasn't my fiancé Ethan. It was Liam, my cousin who had always coveted me. Ethan left me here alone, with his cousin. No, not abandoned. It was a trap he set with his own hands. My heart suddenly tightened, a chill spreading from my feet throughout my body. Scarlett, stop struggling. Ethan has handed you over to me. Yuri's smile was greasy and disgusting, his hand trying to tear off my skirt. Get lost. Anger and humiliation instantly overwhelmed the dizziness caused by the drugs. I gathered all my strength and bit down hard on his wrist. Yuri screamed in pain and released his grip. The metallic taste of blood spread in my mouth. I didn't hesitate. I bent my knee and struck his face hard. Ah! He covered his nose as blood instantly gushed out. Opportunity. I broke free from his grasp and staggered to my feet. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of the small spray he dropped on the ground, the very thing he had sprayed at me when I was off guard. I quickly picked it up and sprayed it fiercely into Yuri's face, who was still crying out in pain. He screamed miserably and collapsed onto the sofa, clutching his eyes in agony. I dared not look any longer and stumbled as I rushed toward the private room door. I opened the door, and the deafening music and dazzling lights poured in. My legs were so weak, every step felt like walking on cotton. I needed help, needed to find a safe place. I leaned against the wall, my vision blurred as I searched for an exit. The door to the next private room was ajar. I almost instinctively pushed the door open, looking for a place to hide. Just as I slipped inside, I saw a familiar figure coming out. It was Liam. He walked straight towards the No. 88 private room I had just escaped from. My heart tightened, and I instinctively shrank into the shadow behind the door. After he went in, I clearly heard the sound of the door being double-locked. This realization was like a bucket of ice water poured over me from head to toe. Ethan, Liam, Yuri, they are in cahoots. They had planned it all along. The love I believed in was nothing but a carefully orchestrated deception and transaction. The overwhelming sorrow and anger nearly consumed me, but the body's reaction was even stronger. The drug took full effect. Waves of heat surged, consciousness began to blur, and the body uncontrollably burned and trembled. I curled up in the corner, painfully scratching my arms, trying to stay awake. Just then, with a snap, the lights in the private room suddenly came on. Under the glaring light, a tall figure stood silhouetted against the brightness. He was very tall, dressed in a well-tailored black suit, his posture upright. The light outlined his sharp features, high nose bridge, thin lips pressed tightly together, a pair of deep eyes like a dark pool, carrying the distinctive three-dimensionality of a mixed-race person, looked at me coldly, so handsome it took one's breath away. At this moment, anyone who didn't look like Yuri or Liam seemed like a lifeline, like a drowning person clutching at driftwood. I stumbled forward and grabbed his leg. Help me, please help me. My voice was shattered, tinged with sobs and a seductive charm under the influence of drugs. The man looked down at me, his eyes devoid of any ripple, as if gazing at an insignificant object, but he did not push me away. This gave me a glimmer of hope. I tilted my head back, tears blurring my vision as I looked at him, my consciousness completely eroded by the drugs. Please, I feel so terrible. I clung to his neck, pressing my burning body close to his. The memories that followed became fragmented. I only remember the intertwining of ice and fire, the unfamiliar scent, and the overwhelming descent. He was like a powerful medicine, temporarily suppressing the pain brought by the drugs, but dragging me into another abyss. I suddenly woke up, not knowing how much time had passed. The soreness and stickiness of my body reminded me of everything that had just happened. I was the only one left in the private room. The man was already gone. Shame and regret swept over me. I forced myself to get up and hastily put on my wrinkled skirt. I couldn't let Ethan and Liam's people find me here. I must leave immediately. Glancing at the limited edition watch Ethan gave me on my wrist, once treasured dearly, now it only felt ironic. I took it off and placed it on the bedside table. Consider it payment. Although humiliating, it's still better than owing a stranger. I composed myself, took a deep breath, and carefully opened the private room door. The corridor had already returned to calm. I quickened my pace, relying on my fading memory to find the elevator, and went all the way down to the parking lot. Just as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw the person I least wanted to see. Ethan and Liam were standing next to a black Bentley, seemingly waiting for someone. When Ethan saw me, his brows immediately furrowed. Scarlett, what are you doing here? His tone was cold, filled with scrutiny and impatience. I looked at him. The face I once loved deeply now only made me feel strange and disgusted. Why can't I be here? I retorted coldly, my voice hoarse from crying and the effects of the medication. Liam stood behind Ethan, a smug smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Ethan's gaze grew even colder. I thought you were waiting for me at home. Waiting for you? I wanted to laugh, but tears welled up first. Waiting for you to give me to someone else? Ethan's expression changed, and he was about to say something. Suddenly, a middle-aged man in dirty work clothes rushed out from behind a nearby pillar. He was holding a paint bucket and charged straight at Liam with clear intent. Go to hell, scum. The incident happened suddenly, and no one reacted in time. Paint was splashed all over Liam's face and body. Ethan almost instinctively pulled Liam behind him to protect him. Most of the paint splashed onto Ethan's back, but Liam and I, standing close by, were also splattered with the pungent red paint. The scene instantly descended into chaos. The middle-aged man dropped the paint bucket, pulled out a gleaming knife from his chest, and lunged at Liam again. Watch out! Ethan shouted sharply, kicking the man hard in the chest at the same time. The man staggered from the kick, his body uncontrollably falling toward me. I was so frightened that I kept retreating, but my foot caught on the speed bump in the parking lot, and I fell backward. I saw the knife about to stab me. A dull thud. A heavy flower pot fell from the sky, hitting the middle-aged man lunging at me squarely on the head. The man didn't even grunt, collapsing softly in front of me, blood mixing with dirt flowing everywhere. I looked up in shock, still trembling. On the open-air platform of the second floor, a vague tall figure disappeared into the darkness. Is it him? The man in that private room? After Ethan was stunned, he immediately rushed over to help me up. Scarlett, are you okay? Are you hurt? The urgency in his voice seemed genuine, but there was a trace of complexity hidden deep in his eyes. I pushed his hand away, struggling to stand up, my legs still weak. At that moment, the man who had been knocked unconscious slowly came to, and seeing the security guards and Ethan gathered around, suddenly pointed at me and shouted hoarsely, "It's her, this woman. She's the one who paid me to throw paint and stab Mr. Liam." Ethan, holding my arm, also froze. Liam hid behind Ethan, a glint of triumph flashing in his eyes. This was yet another trap. The paint throwing was real, the injury was real, but I was the target from the very beginning. They want to destroy me. People around had already taken out their phones to take photos and videos of the commotion. A feud among the wealthy? Crime of passion? That woman looked so miserable, doused in paint and falsely accused. The murmurs pricked my ears like needles. Ethan's gaze towards me completely changed. The anxiety from just now turned into scrutiny, suspicion, and finally cold disappointment. Scarlett, was it really you? His voice was soft, yet it struck my heart like a heavy hammer. The last shred of hope was shattered. I looked at him, feeling a chill deep in my bones. It wasn't me, I said calmly, though my voice trembled slightly. He didn't believe me. I knew he didn't believe me. Bang! In his heart, I had already become a vicious woman who would stop at nothing for revenge. The police arrived quickly and took all of us back to the station. In the police station's restroom, I kept washing the paint off my face and body. The red pigment mixed with water and flowed down the drain like blood and tears. The reflection in the mirror showed me in a sorry state, hair disheveled, eyes hollow. The bathroom door was pushed open. Liam walked in, a victorious smile on his face. Scarlett, didn't expect this, did you? He leaned against the doorframe, smug. Ethan must hate you now. Guess what? Will he still believe you? I looked at him coldly, saying nothing. Don't look at me like that. Liam took a step closer, lowering his voice. I advise you to withdraw the lawsuit obediently and admit that you were jealous of me and acted impulsively to seek revenge. Otherwise, he took out his phone and opened a video. On the screen was a blurry but unmistakable footage of me in room 88, struggling and resisting after Yuri drugged me. If this video gets out, what do you think will happen to your reputation? Will Ethan still want you? How will your family see you? He smiled like a devil. Despicable. What? I was stunned. Say whatever you want. Liam put away his phone. I'll give you 1 day to think it over. Either plead guilty or be ruined. Your choice. He turned and left, leaving me alone in the cold bathroom, as if plunged into an ice cellar. The paid content point can be set after Liam's threat, as readers will be curious about how Scarlett fights back, whether Ethan's attitude still has room for change, and who the mysterious man Noah really is. I understand now. The police investigation is still ongoing. The parking lot surveillance footage clearly shows that from the moment I entered the parking lot until the attack occurred, I had no contact whatsoever with that middle-aged man. The surveillance also captured the moment the flower pot fell, but the lighting upstairs was too dim to see who it was. The middle-aged man insisted that I was the mastermind, but he couldn't provide any evidence. Coupled with his prior record of intentional injury, the police ultimately detained him on suspicion of intentional harm and false accusation. I was cleared of the suspicion of hiring someone to cause injury. Stepping out of the interrogation room, Ethan was waiting outside. His expression was complicated, tinged with a trace of guilt, but more so with fatigue and detachment. "Scarlett, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you." His voice was dry. I looked at him, my heart as calm as still water. No hysteria, no questioning, just a calm statement of fact. "Scarlett." He seemed to want to say something, to hold me back. I didn't give him the chance and walked straight past him, reaching the police station entrance. The blinding flashlights instantly surrounded me. Reporters and some unidentified people, later I learned they were Liam's fans, swarmed forward. "Miss Sue, may I ask what your relationship is with the attacker? Did you really hire someone to hurt him out of jealousy towards Mr. Liam? Get out of the entertainment industry, you scheming bitch." Several rotten eggs suddenly hit me, the yolk running down my hair, sticky and disgusting. Amidst the chaos, I saw Ethan come out as well. The reporters immediately split up, some going to block him. I thought he would come over to help me, at least protect me like before, but he didn't. He just frowned and glanced at me, then was pulled away by the rushing Liam. Liam faced the camera and righteously declared things like "believe that Scarlett is innocent," then escorted Ethan into the car. The car sped away, leaving me alone in the crowd, looking like a ridiculous clown. In the end, a kind-hearted female police officer helped me out of the predicament and escorted me to my car, closing the car door, shutting out the noise from outside. I could no longer hold back and broke down crying on the steering wheel. For the love that died for me, for my poor judgment of people, for this complete betrayal and humiliation. The phone rang. It was Dad. I sniffled, trying hard to make my voice sound a little more normal. "Hey, Dad." "Scarlett, I saw the news. How are you? Don't be afraid. Dad is here." Dad's voice was as steady as ever, carrying a comforting strength. Tears flowed down uncontrollably again. "Dad, I'm fine. Just a little wronged. If you feel wronged, come home. Dad will back you up. No one can bully my precious daughter." I was so angry that my whole body trembled, my nails digging deep into my palms. I choked back tears and nodded. "Dad, I want to handle it myself. And I want to immigrate as soon as possible." "All right, Dad supports you. Let me know anytime if you need anything." After hanging up, I wiped away my tears, and my gaze gradually grew resolute. Crying won't solve any problems. What they owe me, I will take back bit by bit. The phone screen lit up. It was a message from Ethan. "Scarlett, let's break up. I'm sorry." I looked at those words, my heart already numb. Calmly replied with one word, "Okay, soon." He sent another message. "I'll compensate you. The villa in the west of the city, and the $5 million in the card, all yours. The lawyer will contact you to handle the transfer." I looked at the screen and sneered. Using money to make up for betrayal? What does he think I am? "Okay," I replied once again. Then, I contacted my lawyer and anonymously donated all of Ethan's compensation to the Women's and Children's Rights Protection Foundation. I wouldn't take a single cent of his dirty money. In the following days, I was like an emotionless machine, got rid of all items related to Ethan, packed my luggage, and moved out of the villa that was once filled with sweet memories. "Ethan, we're over." Booked a flight to France 3 days later. On the night before leaving, I took out a pair of inconspicuous earrings from the jewelry box. These earrings were the latest technological product developed by my father's company, containing miniature high-definition cameras and recording devices. I had previously worn it on me just in case. I didn't expect it to actually come in handy. I connected the earring to the computer and exported the video and audio files inside. The footage clearly recorded the entire process of Yuri drugging me in room 88, as well as his smug confession saying, "Ethan gave you to me." I even recorded a faint clip of Liam's voice coming from the next private room. Although it was unclear, it was enough to prove that Liam was next door at the time. This is their evidence of guilt. 10 minutes before the plane took off, I was sitting in the waiting lounge. I sent the organized video and audio files separately to my lawyer, the police department's official email, several influential tech media platforms, and Ethan. In the email to Ethan, I wrote the last sentence in Georgian, a language I minored in at university. Goodbye, forever. I knew Ethan understood Georgian. It was his mother's native language and a secret we once shared. Sent. I calmly deactivated all my social media accounts and took out my SIM card, breaking it in half. From now on, the past Scarlett is dead. The plane taxied, took off, and soared into the clouds. I watched the city outside the window gradually shrink, feeling no attachment, only relief. Meanwhile, at the Thorn Group headquarters, in the top-floor conference room, the atmosphere was solemn. Ethan was presiding over an important multinational merger meeting. He tried to focus, but his mind kept flashing back to the humiliating scene of Scarlett leaving the police station, surrounded by a crowd and pelted with rotten eggs. And when she looked at him, those cold, despairing eyes, it felt as if something was blocking his heart, suffocating and anxious. Suddenly, the personal assistant knocked and came in, handing him a tablet with a serious expression. Mr. Ethan, an urgent email, marked for your immediate attention. Ethan frowned as he took it and opened the email. The sender was Scarlett. The attachment was a video file. His heart skipped a beat as he clicked to play it. The screen shakes a bit, but everything happening inside room 88 can be seen clearly. Yuri drugging her, Scarlett's terrified struggle, and Yuri's words, "Ethan has given you to me." At the end of the video, there is also a clip of Liam speaking next door. Immediately after, he saw that glaring message in Georgian, "Goodbye, forever." Ethan's head felt like it had exploded. All the images, sounds, and words stabbed mercilessly into his heart like poison daggers. She understands Georgian. She has always known. So, she had long known the content of his conversation with Liam. She knew everything, yet remained calm and unruffled. She was drugged, humiliated, suspected by him, and abandoned by him. And he was the executioner who personally pushed her into hell. Mr. Ethan? Mr. Ethan? The voice of the partner's representative sounded in his ear. Ethan suddenly snapped back to reality, his face as pale as paper, sweat covering his forehead. He could no longer maintain his composure, abruptly pushed the chair away, and staggered out of the meeting room. Overwhelming regret and pain engulfed him like a tidal wave. He wanted to find her, to explain, to apologize, to beg for her forgiveness. He frantically dialed Scarlett's number, but it was turned off. Sent a message, but it could not be delivered. Logged into the social platform, but the account had been deactivated. She disappeared, completely vanished from his world. He rushed into the underground garage and drove to the villa he had compensated her with. He held on to the last shred of hope. Maybe she hadn't left yet. However, what awaited him was only an empty room and a certificate of property donation handed to him by the butler. She donated everything he had given her. The butler told him, "Miss Scarlett left yesterday. She said she emigrated to France." France. Ethan immediately booked the earliest flight to Paris. He had to find her in Paris. He couldn't believe she could be so heartless. However, Paris is so vast that finding one person is like searching for a needle in a haystack. He wandered the streets of Paris in confusion, like a puppet who had lost his soul. At that moment, he received a call from his father. "Ethan, where are you? There's a huge problem at the company. The scandal video of you, Liam, and Yuri has exploded online. Thorn Group's stock price is plummeting. You need to come back immediately. Also, you must attend the wedding of the Pioneer Group's heiress next week to help salvage some of your image." On the other end of the line was his father's roar. Ethan held the phone, standing dazed by the Seine River. Notorious, abandoned by all. Is this the price he pays for hurting Scarlett? No, far from enough. He lost the most precious thing in his life. Meanwhile, in a private estate in Provence, France, the sun was shining brightly, and the lavender was in full bloom. I wore a comfortable cotton linen dress, sitting on the terrace sipping floral tea, enjoying a long-awaited tranquility. Father had arranged everything, including a marriage alliance between me and the heir of a local noble family. It is said that the other party comes from a prestigious family and has a noble character. Dad said that starting a new life requires a strong support. I did not object. After experiencing Ethan, I no longer hold any illusions about love. Marriage alliance might be the best choice. The butler walked over and said respectfully, "Miss, Master Sean has returned. Your fiancé, Mr. Noah, came along as well. Brother is back?" I felt a surge of joy in my heart and stood up. My brother Sean has been expanding the family business overseas for years. We haven't seen each other for almost a year. I quickened my pace to the manor gate and saw my brother's familiar figure. Standing beside him was my arranged marriage partner, Noah. When I saw Noah's face clearly, I was stunned. In that private room of the nightclub, that mixed-race man who saved me, or rather, took advantage of me. The world is really too small. Noah obviously recognized me too. A faint, barely noticeable surprise flashed in his deep eyes, but he quickly regained his composure. He reached out his hand to me, a polite yet distant smile curling at the corner of his mouth. "Hello, Scarlett. I am Noah." Brother Sean was unaware of the incident at the nightclub and enthusiastically introduced us. The situation became somewhat awkward for a while. Later, when it was just the two of us, Noah was the first to break the silence. "I knew it was you." He looked at me, his eyes sincere. "Sorry, that night everything happened so suddenly. I'm the one who should thank you." I lowered my head. "If it weren't for you, the consequences would have been unimaginable." Although the process was not pleasant. About our engagement, Noah paused. "I've looked into you and Ethan. I don't mind your past. Choosing you as a partner for this alliance was based on business considerations, and it was also my personal decision." Boom. His honesty took me by surprise. "I don't mind either." I looked up, meeting his gaze. "I need a new beginning. So, happy cooperation?" He raised an eyebrow. "Happy cooperation." I nodded. The wedding was set for a month later. Noah sent over a custom-made wedding dress and a set of valuable jewelry. The wedding dress is a Vera Wang haute couture piece, layered with lace and pearls, dreamy and luxurious. The jewelry is from Graf's rare pink diamond collection, dazzling and stunning. Dad looked at me trying on the wedding dress, his eyes slightly moist. "My daughter has grown up, truly beautiful. Scarlett, may you be happy in the future." "I will, Dad." I held my father's hand. The wedding was held in an ancient church near Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. The guests gathered, all prominent figures from Europe. I linked arms with my father and walked step by step toward the altar. Noah, dressed in a white suit, stood there waiting for me, as handsome as a prince straight out of a fairy tale. Just as the priest was about to announce the vows, "Scarlett," a heart-wrenching scream came from the church entrance. I turned around abruptly. How could he be here? He looked much more haggard, his suit wrinkled, hair messy, eyes bloodshot, rushing over like a madman. "Scarlett, don't marry him. Come with me. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please give me one more chance." He tried to break through the security guard's blockade, reaching out to me, his eyes filled with despair and pain. I looked at him, my heart as calm as an ancient well, not a ripple stirring. "Ethan," my voice calm and clear, "it's too late. I don't love you anymore." Those words were like a sharp blade, completely shattering him. He staggered backward, his eyes vacant, muttering to himself, "No, impossible." Noah stepped forward, shielding me behind him, his gaze icy as he looked at Ethan. "Please leave. You are not welcome here." Several tall bodyguards quickly stepped forward, restraining the emotionally out-of-control Ethan and dragging him out of the church. The church fell silent again. I took a deep breath, turned around, and gave Noah an apologetic smile. He held my hand and whispered, "It's okay." The wedding continued. Exchange rings, recite vows, sign the documents. I officially became Noah's wife. Outside the church, Brother Sean stopped Ethan, who was being dragged out. "Ethan Thorne." Sean's fists clenched tightly, making a cracking sound. "How dare you show your face here? We, the Sioux family, haven't settled the score with you for everything you've done to Scarlett." Ethan was like a soulless puppet, letting Sean grab his collar. "If Scarlett hadn't stopped you, do you think the Thorne Group would still exist now? She loved you so much, yet you hurt her like that. You bastard." Sean punched Ethan in the face. Ethan's mouth bled from the punch, but he showed no reaction, just staring blankly in the direction of the church. "I'll wait for her." He suddenly spoke, his voice hoarse. "If Noah dares to treat her badly, I will take her back." Sean sneered, "You don't stand a chance." Noah and I walked out of the church and got into the wedding car. As I passed by Ethan, I didn't look at him, but through the car window, I clearly said to him, "Ethan Thorne, in this life, we will never meet again." The car slowly drove away, leaving that lost and desolate figure far behind. Wedding night. Noah had drunk quite a bit, but his eyes remained clear. He hugged me from behind, resting his chin on the top of my head. "Scarlett, I know you may not love me yet. It's okay. We have plenty of time. He didn't rush to prove anything. He just gently kissed my forehead. That night, he showed me through his actions that he would be a trustworthy partner. Yuri was released after serving his sentence, but his small family business had long since gone bankrupt. Liam was also released from prison, but due to scandals involving drug use and attempted intentional injury, he was completely blacklisted in the entertainment industry both domestically and abroad. He went to plead with Ethan but was turned away. It is said that he later completely fell from grace and became a peripheral figure in the wealthy socialite circles. Ethan, on the other hand, became a workaholic. He was ruthless in his methods and became increasingly successful in the business world, even spending a fortune to rehabilitate his image, becoming seen by outsiders as a young, promising, mature, and steady business magnate. But those close to him all knew that he had become even more sullen and taciturn, with a terrifying emptiness inside. He found a female companion who deliberately imitated my appearance, temperament, and even the way I looked at people back then. That day, Ethan, accompanied by that female companion, was preparing to return to his hometown to meet the family. In the VIP lounge at Charles de Gaulle Airport, he saw us. It's him, me, Noah, and our pair of children. My son looks like Noah, already showing a deep and striking profile at such a young age. Very cool. My daughter looks like me, delicate and exquisite, with eyes that curve like crescent moons when she smiles. The four of us, our family, are about to board the private plane to the Maldives for vacation. Noah gently tidies my hair that the wind has tousled. My son coolly holds my hand, and my daughter sits on the suitcase, giggling. The scene was warm yet glaring. Ethan froze in place, staring at me intently. The woman beside him noticed his loss of composure, followed his gaze, and a flicker of jealousy and embarrassment crossed her face. I felt his eyes on me, glanced at him faintly, then withdrew my gaze, as if I had only seen an insignificant stranger. Noah wrapped his arms around my waist and whispered something in my ear, and I laughed. At that moment, Ethan clearly realized that no one could replace Scarlett. The fakes he found were nothing but self-deception. Once he lost her forever. He looked at the companion who was imitating me and suddenly felt bored. Before the plane took off, he sent a message to that companion, "Let's end this." Then, he boarded the plane back to America alone. Some loves, once missed, last a lifetime.